कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees to our weekly Bhakti Vaibhav class. So in the previous classes, we were discussing about the great personalities such as Privrat Maharaj, Agnitra, Nabi, Vrishabhadev, then Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj as a student, as a householder, as a king, as a Vanaprastha devotee, as a caretaker of a deer, then Bharat Maharaj as a deer, then Bharat Maharaj as a Brahmana Bharata, who was taken care by his father with an intention to teach him all the rules and regulations that a Brahmana boy should learn. He did not show any interest. He passed away. Brahmana Bharata's mother entrusting her twin children to her co-wife, the eldest wife of the Brahmana, Angira Brahmana. She entered into Sati. Then the elder brothers did not want to take care of their younger brother, Bharata, Brahmana Bharata. Instead, engaged him in all homely activities, such as taking care of the field, taking care of the home, cleaning, leveling the earth, putting water, shooing up the birds, and he was given only the leftover food, burnt food, sometimes good, sometimes bad. For the sake of food, sometimes he would work on wages also here and there. Like that, the Brahmana Bharata was managing or maintaining his body, maintaining the body and soul together without much interest in the bodily comfort. So like that, we saw in the previous class how Brahmana Bharata dealt with his parents, especially father, and then with his brothers. And then the third, how we will deal with the dacoits. And the fourth, how we will deal with a king, Rahugana. That we will discuss today. So last week we stopped at text number 11, that he was maintained by his elder brothers by engaging him in various activities. That all we discussed. Now, as part of his engagement, he would go to field, level the field, put the water, and shoo off the birds, like that. All those things he was doing. So while doing so, one night, one unexpected thing happened. That is being narrated in the next section. Yeah, please someone read the translation for text number 12.
At this time, being desirous of obtaining a son, a leader of dacoits who came from a Shudra family wanted to worship the goddess Bhadrakali by offering her in sacrifice a dull man who is considered no better than an animal.
So, as usual, he was doing his activities as instructed by his elder brothers. One fine day, one leader of thieves with a desire to have a powerful and intelligent son who would continue the legacy forward by becoming a great thief. So some priest told him, you need to offer a Purusha Pashu. Purusha Pashu. Matlab, a dull human being in sacrifice unto Bhadrakali, by which he will be blessed with a powerful son, a powerful, cunning, intelligent son, so that he can carry forward the legacy. Apatya Kama. So he started a sacrifice. Vrishalapati means a leader of the Shudras or thieves. Alabata means that he began to perform a sacrifice. Then what happened? As instructed by the priest, he began to perform the sacrifice. But unfortunately, of course, he got a Purusha Pashu, a dull man. He was supposed to be offered as an offering to Bhadrakali. But before that could happen, that person escaped. The sacrificial human of the leader of the thieves had escaped by chance, and his followers were pursuing his path in the night. So during that night, at the middle of the night at 12 p.m., when that Purusha Pashu supposed to be offered, maybe at the beginning of the night around 6, 7 p.m., this fellow somehow escaped from the thieves' camp. The leader's follower, the other followers followed after him. Not catching him at midnight, covered darkness, they suddenly saw the son of the Angira Brahmana, who was protecting the fields from wild boars and deer, seated on a raised platform. So starting from 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. like that, they were searching for this Purusha Pashu, but he ran away out of for his life. They could not find him. When they were about to return on the path, they saw this Bharata, Brahmana Bharata, who was there in the field on a raised platform, showing off the deers and balus so that they will not come and destroy the paddy. So that was the situation. See, one is interesting thing. The Purusha Pashu is supposed to be offered in the sacrifice in the middle of the night, not in the daytime. So these activities are generally not recommended. Even if they are done, they should be done in the dead of the night when no one is seeing around. That is also one more instruction to people who want to consume meat. They, at least we used to hear in the beginning days of ISKCON that they were recommended to offer a goat to Bhadrakali in the middle of the night and prepare meat and consume it before the sunrise can take place. That means daytime, when the sunlight is around, one should not do such kind of activities. That is not at all considered auspicious traditionally. So, one small connection. The sacrificial human had by chance escaped. Bharata was seated on a platform in the end. Basically, in the munch, within the field only, there is a munch kind of thing. On top of that, they sit and show off all the animals and birds. They are on the raised platforms, they could see everywhere. So that is what they saw him. They are happy. If they go back without the Purusha Pashu, the leader will chastise and punish them. But now they got another person. Considering that Bharata with faultless qualities would fulfill the purpose of their master, they tied him up with rope and with happy faces brought him with great joy to the temple of Kali. So they did not return empty handed. Otherwise, the master who had prepared for the sacrifice that night would become very angry. But now they got another person, and this person is not even retaliating. He was very mild and calm, and he was looking very FT also externally. And they tied him up and then took him to their master with bright faces, saying that though that weak person left, but we got a strong person. This person will be a fit bali, fit offering for the Bhadrakali. So with the double joy, they returned to the camp. So then what happened? So the leader said, okay, fine, thank you. You brought the bigger person. So we'll have better offering. The priest also said, okay. The priest said, get him ready. It's already 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Not much time is there. At 12 night, we need to offer him. The priests bathed Bharata according to their rules, dressed him in new cloth, decorated him with ornaments, sandalwood, garlands, and tilaka, and then fed him. See, these are all there. Before offering Bali, they give nice treatment, nice worship. They had him sit in front of Bhadrakali, along with paraphernalia for animal sacrifice, including incense, lamps, garlands, papud rice, shoots, and fruits to the sound of singing and beating of drums. So the entire camp was jubilant because this person is not even saying a word, not retaliating, not is fully cooperative. Whatever they say, he was simply obeying and doing. The previous person was not like that. Even he escaped also. So they are all very happy, thinking that okay, we got a right person for the sacrifice. And they dressed him, they bathed him, dressed him, decorated him, offered him garlands, sandalwood, ornaments, new clothes, and nice food, and brought him and sat him in front of Bhadrakali where offering will be done. And adjacent to him, all the offering paraphernalia is there, all the variety of grains and this, that, everything is there. And the entire camp was very happy, and they are singing and dancing and playing instruments. So very soon they are going to have their sacrifice performed, and eventually the leader will have a powerful son who will be their future leader. So everyone was happy. Anaya means priests of the thieves. Ahatena, Vasasa means with new clothes. Vaishasa, Samstaya means with arrangements for slaughter. So everything is made nicely, everything is arranged nicely. Then the priest of the thieves, with an intention to offer Brahmana Bharata as an offering to Bhadrakali, raised his sword to cut off his neck. The chief priest of the for the leaders of the thieves, desiring to please Kali with the blood of the sacrificial human. So basically, they cut off the head, and the blood coming out of their neck will be offered at the feet of Bhadrakali. That was the intention. With the blood of the sacrificial human, took up a sharp, fearful sword consecrated to Kali, with an intention to offer this oblation at the feet of Kali. He took up his sword, which is very big, very huge, very sharp, very fear invoking. So everyone is ready, the scene is ready. He is going to cut off the neck. As a result of that, the neck will ooze blood. That blood will fall on the feet of Bhadrakali. The Bhadrakali's feet will be washed by the feet of the Purusha Pashu, offering animal, offering human. So that was the intention. But Mother Kali does not keep quiet, especially when a personality like Bharata, who is a great devotee of the Supreme Lord, who is helping is personally taken care by the Supreme Lord. How can Lord's ardent followers such as Bhadrakali can keep quiet? She actually protects Brahmana Bharata. That is indicated in the next four verses. Someone please read the translation for 17th verse.
All the rogues and thieves who had made arrangements for the worship of goddess Kali were low minded and bound to the modes of passion and ignorance. They were overpowered by the desire to become very rich. Therefore, they had the audacity to disobey the injunctions of the Vedas, so much so that they were prepared to kill Jadabharat, a self realized soul born in a Brahmin family. Due to their envy, these dacoits brought him before the goddess Kali for sacrifice. Such people are always addicted to envious activities, and therefore they dared to try to kill Jad Bharat. Jad Bharat was the best friend of all living entities. He was no one's enemy, and he was always absorbed in meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was born of a good Brahmin father, and killing him was forbidden, even though he might have been an enemy or aggressive person. In any case, there was no reason to kill Jadabharat, and the goddess Kali could not bear this. She could immediately understand that these sinful dacoits were about to kill a great devotee of the Lord. Suddenly, the deity's body burst asunder, and the goddess Kali personally emerged from it in a body burning with an intense and intolerable effulgence.
Hmm. wonderful character of Bharat Maharaj has been indicated in this verse. At the low class men whose minds were contaminated with passion, pride, and wealth. These dacoits, the thieves, they are by birth low class, and by activities they are filled with passion, pride, arrogance, and wealth, because they have already stolen so much wealth, so they are filled with a lot of wealth. With natures of passion and ignorance, they are fully, completely covered by Tamoguna and Rajoguna, who are preparing to commit violence, making the troops of the Lord's avatars unhappy. Bhagavat Kala Veera Kulam Kadarti Kritya. Their activity is not at all appreciated by the Lord's expansion, such as Bhadrakali also. Because Shastra has some injunctions, okay, some dull animals can be given in sacrifice to Bhadrakali for people who are not able to control their minds and tongues for their temporary satisfaction. They can do such kind of relaxation is given. But here they have gone beyond imagination. The various reasons the Prabhupada stated in the verse also we'll discuss. But Bhadrakali may approve. Okay, somebody offers some goat and some other animal once in a while. He is an uncontrolled person for their tongue pleasure. That is okay. But here they are overpowered by Tamoguna and Rajoguna, overpowered by passion, pride, and wealth, with a desire to have a not a dharmic son, the desire to have a son who will be their future leader, thief, robber. So they are going to offer a Purusha Pashu, and here the person is going to be offered is not an ordinary person. That is not at all acceptable. So in that way it is indicated. So thus it is said that making the troops of the Lord's avatars unhappy. Kali became unhappy. Kali, understanding that they are sacrificing Bharata, who was without enemy. Niruvai Rasya. This concept of without enemy will be mentioned in the next chapters again and again. That we have seen in the previous chapter also. Even when a deer, by the will of the destiny, the deer from a baby deer, flowing in the water, which is destined to die, seems to be. But he showed compassion upon the deer and he raised it. So his compassion, his friendliness has been indicated in the previous chapters. So he has no enemy towards any living entity. Even though his brothers were torturing him anything in a different way, he never retaliated, he never showed any trace of anger toward them. So he has no enemy towards anybody. And he is the friend of all beings. Sarva Bhuta Suhruda. So he was a friend of that dear baby. So why not he will be friend of human beings? So Kali understood that the sacrificing a person who is no enemy, who has no enemy, who is friend of everyone, is actually a cruel activity. Ati dharunam karma. It was cruel and unauthorized even in the emergency scriptures. Even in emergency condition also, none of the scriptures can support this kind of human offering. A envious human can be offered maybe in emergency, you can say, but he is friendly to everyone and he has no enemy. And more than that, he is born in a Brahmana family. Externally, you see, it is speaking, but internally, he is a great devotee of the Lord. He is not a candidate supposed to go through such kind of situation. So such kind of things are unauthorized even in the emergency situation. Even in emergency also one should not do such kind of activities. So seeing all these things in order to protect Bharata, who is a dedicated devotee of the Supreme Lord, Lord's one of the trusted servant, Bhadrakali, Durga Devi, suddenly burst out of the deity form with a flaming body. She was there. It is not an ordinary deity only. She is personally present in the deity and breaking apart the deity. She came out. And when she came out, she was brightly shining with fire. And that fire which is coming out of her, blinding the entire In the sense, it was so bright, so bright. The people who are around, they are not able to see anything. The brightness blinding their vision. So it's like that. Veera Kulam means a group of devotees acting as an army. Kadarthi Kritya means making unhappy, a bad activity. Understanding the actions being undertaken, Kali broke the form and emerged, broke the deity form and emerged. Or the deity Kali broke by the effulgence of Bharata. Another meaning is that Bharata himself is a great devotee. By his devotional capacity, the deity broke apart and Kali came. The word Eva indicates that Bharata was not cut by the sword. Violence is permitted to protect oneself during times of danger. However, killing Bharata was not permitted. Maybe some Shastra might be indicating that okay, if you offer a boy, a human, you will get a child, powerful child in return. That is there. Even in Mahabharata also we see that our Jarasandha was trying to offer 80,000 kings in Narabali to Kalabhairava with an intention to become the Samrat Chakravarti of the entire Jambudvipa. That was there. Some Shastras might be promoting. But not that anyone and everyone can be offered in such kind of sacrifices. Especially a Brahmana, Brahmahatya is not at all recommended. And especially a person who is friendly to all, who has no enemy, who does not treat anyone in a bad this thing. And here is a already liberated person. Such kind of person is never fit to be offered like this. So, in all points of view, is supposed to be protected. So, Mother Kali, breaking apart the deity form, came out with an intention to protect Ramana Bharata.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, what is an animal man? Is it a human species or what? Is it
No. Animal man means a dull person, a human only, who is like animal, a dull,
Okay.
intellectually is not so developed, morally is not so cultured.
Okay.
So such
Thank you.
kind of person is offered in such sacrifices.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Uh,
Mataji.
Prabhuji, like I was feeling all this while, like why Kali being an energy of the Lord, like she's we see Sona, Yogamaya and Mahamaya, she's serving for the Lord. So why
Hmm.
do she accepts such kind of a belief? Like even the animal sacrifice also given to Kali is not all that great because there like in yagya it is not ensured that that pashu which is given bali will be getting the human birth later and his evolution will start towards going back to godhead. So why does Kali accept such things?
Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, there was a description about Yajna, Dana, Tapa in three modes of material nature. In the mode of goodness, in the mode of passion, in the mode of ignorance. In all these three places, there is the concept of yajna. So basically, the person in different modes performs yajna, being inspired by different dictates. The scriptures are also kind of divided in three modes. Not the scriptures are in three modes. The people who are in three modes are supposed to be encouraged to practice some activities. So, such kind of offerings are recommended in those scriptures which are in the mode of ignorance, because these people are in the mode of ignorance. In order to raise them, some kind of system is promoted. So like that we should take. And certainly we cannot compare this yajna with the kings who are performing that yajna, Ashwamedha yajna, Gomedha yajna, where that Ashwa will attain heavenly body and our human body in the next life and attain perfection. This kind of comparison we cannot do.
Yeah, so it should be understood that Kali does this seva of accepting such abominable offerings by
Hmm.
the people in mode of ignorance so that they can be raised from the level of ignorance. So
Yes,
she
yes.
does that as a service for the Lord because otherwise Lord will not accept such offerings. somebody has to accept. So she is doing the service like that.
There is a concept of Panchopasana, especially in South. Followers of Shankaracharya, they do this Panchopasana. The first level is called Shakti worship. Then Shiva worship, and then Ganapati worship, then Surya worship, finally Vishnu worship. So these things are also gradually evolved based on the mood in which a person is situated. The people in the mode of ignorance, in order to raise them, they are recommended to worship Shakti. A little bit developed, they are recommended to worship Shiva. Little bit developed, they are recommended to worship Ganesh. Little bit developed, they are recommended to worship Surya. And further developed, they are recommended to worship Vishnu. So Shakti worship to Vishnu worship is a gradual progression from mode of ignorance to mode of passion to mode of goodness. So like that, we should take.
But nowadays, Prabhuji, that categorization also is very faint now, because we see people worshipping Ganpati and Surya also. They also eat non-veg and stuff like that. So they
No,
actually don't
I
follow
don't.
the.
I don't see South में कभी देखा नहीं मैंने. Those who worship Ganapati and Surya, they don't offer. Only those who worship
No,
Kali,
they don't offer
maybe to
it,
some
but
extent Shiva, they offer non-veg.
no, not about offering, I'm saying, but they themselves eat it. That's what I'm saying.
No, no. People eat. That is there. That we can't stop. What can be done? They are trained like that. The parents only trained them from childhood that what they can do. So at least when they go to temple that day, they don't eat. I don't think so. But when it
Yeah,
comes to Kali, they go there and they do everything and they eat in front of Kali only.
yeah.
So it is like that.
But still, for the Kali Prabhuji, it is quite means, although it's a difficult task, like in the next shloka, also it is mentioned that she played with the like a ball with their heads, and she drank the blood and all that. So it's quite ghastly, means even though she's doing seva with lot of interest, as if she's doing it, appears like that.
It's like that. If you read about the war also will be like that only. Kshatriyas by nature they are very peaceful people, but when the war field, they also become violent.
Yeah.
So it's as per the need of the hour.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So she had fearsome visage, her face very fearsome, fear invoking, very frightening with open tongue and open teeth and loud shouts and all, burning with red eyes, crooked teeth. The teeth are protruding outside and frowning brows. The eyebrows are very much frowning. The wide open eyes, which expanded by the force of her anger and intolerance to the offense to Bharata. So she became so angry, so angry, so angry because these thieves are going to kill the great devotee of the Supreme Lord. Just like Narsingadev was so angry with Hiranyakashipu at that time. Here, similarly, Durga Devi is so angry with the thieves. In great anger, she released a loud laugh, indicating her desire to destroy the whole universe. So, in that anger, she began to laugh loudly, as if she's going to destroy everyone for the sake of Bharat Maharaj. Whoever going to stop her will be destroyed. Whoever going to come on her path will be destroyed. So, in that way. So, what did she do with that intention? Along with her followers, she began to drink the warm blood as liquor, as it flowed from the necks of the sinful thieves, whose heads she severed with the same sword. She came out of the deity, she came forward 1 2 steps and took the same sword from the priest's hand And she, first of all, she cut off the priest head, and then she cut off the head of the leader, and then she began to cut off the heads of all the other followers. And while doing so, from the head, the blood is coming out. From the trunk and the neck of the body, the blood is coming out. And Durga Devi, with all her followers, they were collecting that blood in their kapal, and they began to drink the hot blood coming out of all these people. Overwhelmed by intoxication, she began to sing loudly. After drinking the blood, she was intoxicated, and she began to sing loudly and dance with her followers and tossed the heads of the thieves around in play. So she is, after drinking the blood of the priest and the leader, she threw it to others, and they threw it here, there, etc., etc. You drink, something like that. So they were playing with the heads of all these people, singing loudly, dancing haphazardly. So it's like that. It is a ghastly scene. So externally we may think that, okay, how can Kali will do it? Abhi, what to do? The people are dealing with Kali like that, and she will reciprocate accordingly only. Etamam prapadyante tamstayo bhajamyam. Till now, these thieves must have offered so many heads. Whether she really drank the blood or not, we don't. Whether she really consumed, swallowed the blood or not, but at least it apparently seems that she drank the blood, and her followers definitely will drink the blood. The followers of Durga were Bhuta Preta Pishashas. So Prabhupada says that when people offer some meat items to Kali, Kali actually Vaishnavi. She is the sister of Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. She cannot be doing all these things like eating meat and drinking wine, drinking blood and drinking wine, etc. Even the people offer, she would tell her followers, okay, okay, आप लोग ले लो, अभी क्या करें, इनका बेचारे इनका उद्धार के लिए आप ले लो, आप जो भी वरदान चाहिए उनको दे दो, material blessings. So like that she would do always. But today, because it is for protecting the devotee of the Lord, he is displaying that particular feature, that she is taking joy in killing such kind of senseless thieves for the sake of their own personal gain. They are ready to destroy the devotee of the Supreme Lord. So who will stop? Who will who will see all this and keep quiet? So in that way, she became very angry, because especially the thing is happening with Bharat Maharaj. She became so angry, so angry. She drinking the blood of the priest and the thieves. So like that we can see. She became angry, unable to tolerate the offense to Bharata, Amarsha. She had a face fearful with the energy of her red eyes, crooked teeth, the branches of her frowning eyebrows, which expanded by the force of her absorption in anger and intolerance at the offense to Bharata. Because the offense is happening towards Bharata Maharaj, the great devotee of the Supreme Lord, she could not take it. So Hantu Kame Vedam means she desired to destroy the universe because of the offense to Bharata, one entity residing in that universe. She became so angry that she was ready to destroy the entire universe in order to protect Bharat Maharaj. That kind of anger she displayed. That means she was so eager to protect the devotee of the Supreme Lord. So like that we should see.
Hare Krishna,
So,
Prabhuji.
yes, Mataji.
Yeah, I have a couple of doubts here. Firstly, I'm not too sure about this form of Durga. So,
Hmm.
like, heard so many times, like the connection of Durga Devi with this Navratra, we say. So,
Hmm.
there are forms of Durga Devi, like 64 forms are mentioned at some places. So, I'm failing to understand that aspect of Durga Devi, because we consider Durga Devi as like energy of the Lord who is serving the Lord, right?
Now, she is also a person. She also performs various activities. In relation to each and every pastime, she manifests a different form. So all those forms continued to be worshipped by the respective devotees who got benefited by her in that particular form. So these are none of these forms are imagined. They are all connected to some pastime. So in that way, the respective devotees keep worshipping her in those respective forms.
So 64 forms are actually bona fide form. Is that what you're saying, right?
I don't know exact number and all, but there could be. Why not? Why not 564? She is not an ordinary person. She can have 64,000 forms also. Why not?
Yeah, yeah, that.
Can't she
Exactly.
perform 64,000 pastimes in relation to like killing various devotee demons and protecting, serving various devotees and protecting various devotees? So every pastime has one particular way of reciprocation. So in that way, we can accept them.
And just a few minutes back, you said she's a Vaishnavi, and then you said sister of Krishna. Is that what I heard?
हाँ 10th canto अब भूल गया
10th कैंटो पे कहाँ पहुंचे?
ये यशोदा माई का बेटी वसुदेव ने वहां जहाँ से लेके आया था तो
Yeah.
जहाँ पे when she was in Gokul she was Yoga Maya. When she
Uh,
came to Madura she became Mahamaya. Kamsa came and took her from the hands of Devaki and he was about to kill her. She slipped from the hands of our Kamsa and
yeah.
then she appeared the eight-handed form of Durga and she chastised Kamsa and then she disappeared from the vision of Kamsa. And then Srila Prabhupada writes in the Krishna book that she disappeared there and she made her appearance in various places. And all those places later on consecrated as Shakti Pitas by Shankaracharya.
Okay. So uh, when Shivji took the body of Sati, right? And those places are not called Shakti Peeth. Then according to
No,
Vaishnavas, are
but
not.
I don't know. I don't think so. But Sati thing happened long back during Swayambhu Manvantara.
Uh-huh.
This pastime happened recently. I don't know. Some people say that even they say that our body disintegrated and different body limbs fell in different places. Sati to pura she burnt herself. So what was the reason? How her bodily limbs will go here and there? Here, at least it say that some say that she disappeared and she her body limbs fell in different places. So whatever reason may be, but anyway, Prabhupada writes in the Krishna book in this particular context that all those different places or different forms are installed and they are worshipped as Shakti Pitas. Because this is one of the recent activity which happened 5,000 years back. That itself is very remote. I mean, it's going back to Sati means Ayamo Manvantara. It is like too remote, very too difficult to connect.
Actually, just one little doubt. I mean, it could be slightly awkward to us, but in Mayapur, we have Shrimanta Dweep.
Hmm.
There, the deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and this one also is there now. I mean, Durga, right?
Hmm.
So, what is that pastime? I don't know. I
Even
mean,
I also don't remember. Basically, I mean, I don't know. As far as my knowledge goes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she performs austerities to have the darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or something like that before Mahaprabhu appeared. And Mahaprabhu appeared and told that in this place I am going to perform various pastimes and Lord disappeared. The place where Lord stood and spoke to Maya Devi after
hmm.
Lord's disappearance, she took the dust from that place and applied on her Simanta. Simanta means the parting of the air.
Yes,
So
yes.
eventually that place became known as Simanta. But this much I remember. There could be many more other details also. But in any case, so every holy place is being protected by Ram Rakshak, Lord Shiva, and wherever
Sure.
he is there, his wife, Durga Devi is also there. Both of them will be there to guarding and protecting the abode of Lord's pastimes. So that way.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji,
Um,
in this purport, na 18th verse, ka, one line is mentioned that she drank this intoxicant with her associates and who were witches and female demons. So,
hmm.
like whether it should be understood this way, like how we say that Shiva accepts all the ghosts and hobgoblins, etc., as his associates because nobody will accept such person. So Shiva is so merciful that he accepts them also so that they can be engaged in his service. So similarly, his wife Durga also accepts such witches and such female demons and all as her associates. That way it should be
Not
understood.
female demons, the female ghosts. The male ghost will be following Shiva, female ghost will be following Durga. Obviously, na, wife and husband will take care of the
Yeah, yeah,
followers
but
who are also wife and husbands.
because actually, Prabhuji, here it is mentioned in the translation itself that female demons. So I was also confused that why is
See,
Durga Devi
demon is
accepting
like
them?
a general terminology. We cannot say them demons, but generally Bhuta Preta Pishashas. These are all
Okay,
Bhuta Pishashas who are following Lord Shiva. Because by nature they are demonic, that's why Prabhupada writes them as demons. So in that way.
okay, okay. Thank you.
Committing offense with violence to the devotee brings such a result to the offender. Evam eva kalu mahat abhicharati krama abhichara atikrama mahat abhichara atikrama karasnenatmane falati. When we perform mahat abhichara, so when we perform such kind of sinful activities, we also end up with such kind of results. It's a kind of a precautionary note that Sukadeva Goswami is saying. So we should be careful when we are doing something, when we are punishing someone. We don't know that person is a devotee now or in the future. Should be careful. So in that way. Oh Parikshit, for the highest devotees who have served that, who have severed the tight knot of identity with the body, who are friends with all beings. Here again comes Sarva Sattva Suhruda Atmanam, who have no enemy, Nirvairanam, who are protected by the attentive Lord, Apramattena Sakshat Bhagavata, with his attentive chakra, Animisha, Ari Vara Ayudena, like Ambarish Maharaj, he was also personally protected by Lord Sudarshan Chakra, and his various moods, and who have taken shelter of his fearless lotus feet. It is not surprising that one one can be undisturbed at the moment of having one's head cut off. So here the glories of Bharata have been indicated. See, a great devotee like Bharat Maharaj, a great devotee like Ambarish Maharaj, who had no material connection to this material world, who does not see anyone friend or enemy, who is friend to everyone, who is compassionate to everyone, who has no enemies in this world. For such kind of a person, remaining obedient, like somebody is bringing him here and going to kill him and kill him by cutting his head, any normal person would retaliate, will fight back for one's own survival. But here, Bharat Maharaj, there in the ninth canto, Ambarish Maharaj, they did not retaliate. They said, if it has to happen, let it happen. They did not wait. They did not resist or counteract. So such kind of behavior is not at all surprising by such a devotee like Bharat Maharaj or Ambarish Maharaj. Even Parikshit Maharaj also, the daily Bhagavatam class are going on. When he heard from Gauramukha that, okay, you have been cursed by Shringi, that you are going to die in 7 days, and our Guru Maharaj considered this matter very seriously in order to remove it, but he thought it cannot be removed. So please do the needful. So Parikshit Maharaj did not retaliate. He accepted it as a bona fide. So like that. So this is the behavior of great devotees. And such kind of behavior is not at all surprising from such kind of people. Is it not impossible that Bharata would not be disturbed by his death and not show anger to his killers? Somebody might question, "Hey, what is this? What kind of person is he? Can't he understand? Can't he has common sense? Somebody is going to kill him. He should protect himself by all means. He should fight back and he should say no, 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 no. He should shout. He should shout for protection and all. What is this? He simply kept quiet. What kind of person is he? Like that one may question. The answer is, oh Parikshit, oh Vishnu Datta, it is not surprising that there is no disturbance when one's head is about to be cut off. For persons who are free of the tight knot in the heart composed of identity with the body. When we identify with the body, when we identify with the things connected to the body only, we have the desire to continue to live in this world, in that particular body. But here, personalities like Bharat Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj do not have such kind of bodily identification. And more than that, they are friends with all beings. So when they are friends with all beings, he is also friends with the thieves. The thieves want something. When a friend wants something, how can he say no? So he is ready to offer his life. So like that we can see. Who are friends with all beings, even their killers, and who are protected by the attentive. But on the other hand, they are always protected by the attentive, who is holding his hand in his hand the attentive chakra, Sudarshan chakra, with his various moods of affection for his devotees, protecting the righteous and punishing the sinful. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Though the devotees does not retaliate, but the Lord is always eager to protect them by retaliating such kind of miscreants, by killing them and protecting the devotees. So they may keep quiet, but the Lord do not keep quiet. That is the nature of the Supreme Lord. So this is how it is indicated. So how did Lord protect? Lord protected Bharat Maharaj through Bhadrakali. So previously Ambarish Maharaj was protected by Sudarshan Chakra. Here he is protected by via medium of Bhadrakali. So in that way, the Lord's reciprocation towards his devotees can be understood. So this is how he was protected, and all the thieves were delivered. They are killed by Bhadrakali, and eventually they will be delivered like that.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, there are few confusions like regarding this last verse. That at various point I have heard these various statements by senior devotees, or it is written in the shastras also, that always we should try to protect our body because human life is very precious. So also then here we are seeing that because Bharata, his Paramahansa, is not at the level of body, he is not even trying that to protect the body. And also it is said that Lord will always protect his devotees, but also it has been mentioned that protect means aisa nahi hai ki every time Lord will protect the body of the devotee, because Lord is going to protect the soul who is going towards back to God. So how exactly as a sadhaka, what position we should take? Like in suppose ऐसा हो नहीं लेकिन ऐसा situation आ गया कि we are in the danger of life and death. Really, should we rely on Krishna and leave everything on him, or should we make some active efforts? वो कथा भी हम सुनते हैं ना हमेशा कि who drowning, means there was a flood and somebody was on the roof and many boats came and called that person, but he said no, my Lord will save me. And then Lord said after going back that I had sent so many boats but you didn't opt for it, so what can I do? So what location really we should take as a sadhaka in this matter?
It depends where we are, at what level of consciousness we are in. It cannot be imitated artificially. So it will be revealed by maturity. It is not that can happen just like that. So at our level, at the current state, yeah, yes, we do identify with the body. We do anchor for the bodily maintenance, bodily comfort, and name, respect, recognition with respect to the body and mind. So we work on that platform that is there. We work for the maintenance, we work for the comfort, we work for the upbringing of this body and mind. In the sense, gross body, subtle body, that is there. But the personalities like this, Bharat Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, Goswamis, they're already beyond all these levels. They're already on the transcendental platform. Just like Raghunath Das Goswami, if you see his whole life, initially he was preparing and inviting Mahaprabhu and feeding him, and he would accept the remnants. Then after few months, he stopped that. He began to beg at Simhadwar, then began to beg at behind Dwar, then began to uh, eat from leftover food from Anand Bazaar. Then he began to eat the leftover food from the Goshala, which cows also did not eat. So like that, so many different stages. At the end, even when he was in Radhakund, he was only accepting some chas once in 3 days, 4 days. He's matlab, that also just to maintain the body and soul together. That was sufficient for him to maintain that. But we cannot artificially imitate that. So in that way, like that we can think of. Currently, we need breakfast, lunch, dinner in order to maintain the body. But as time progresses, as one spiritually one becomes more and more matured, so one becomes indifferent to the needs of the body and mind. Then slowly, we can see such kind of symptoms which are indicated here in the personality like Bharata, the Parikshit Maharaj, and Ambarish Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj was not interested in drinking water or eating for 7 days. He said, "My dear Lord, you are speaking Krishna Katha. I am nourished. You please speak. Don't worry about my hunger and thirst. You continuously speak for 7 days. Afterwards, I will not be able to hear anymore." So it's like that.
Okay,
So
so
this
our
cannot be
level
artificially limited.
yeah, at the sadhaka level, if the grave situation come, we can always call for the Lord to help and save us. Right?
Ah, yes. Then where whom else will call?
Yeah, that's what whom means we will call that system. And Prabhuji, there are also one or two small doubts. Can I ask now or later?
Quick.
Okay. Should I ask? You said quick.
Quick. Fast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Prabhuji, one thing is always it is mentioned in this chapter that Bharat Maharaj he fell down from the platform of yoga what he was practicing. But where we are seeing he is a bhakta, na, so why it is mentioned that he fell from the platform of yoga? What he was
No, we already discussed, na. Lord only orchestrating the entire event. From that point of view, we have to see.
No. What I meant is why it is mentioned as yoga and not bhakti. He fell down from the position of bhakti. ऐसा नहीं लिखा है. Fell down from the position of yoga. That is why.
I mean, yoga also bhakti only, na. Yoga means not Ashtanga yoga per se.
अच्छा bhakti
Yoga
yoga.
means yoga means the process that connects us back to Supreme Lord.
Okay.
When you say
And
specifically, generally, normally our understanding of yoga means Ashtanga yoga, but yoga means bhakti.
okay. And one small thing in 26th verse purport, it is mentioned that Bharat Maharaj purposefully became over addicted to the deer and neglected his spiritual advancement. So does it mean that Bharat Maharaj had done it voluntarily, whatever fell down happened?
I don't know, not purposefully in the sense. I will discuss na. It has become his nature, being a king. As a king, it is their nature to give shelter to the surrendered. So that mood is still carried forward. So like that we should see.
Okay. And one small thing regarding this Brahmana sons, no, whom Bharat Maharaj's father, that Bharat's father, like it is mentioned in the earlier verses that all his 9 sons were very well educated Brahmanas and they were well versed in the Vedas. Then and later after their father died, we see how they behave with Jat Bharata. So how can we say that they were really cultured and well versed in the knowledgeable person? Do they
See,
behave?
it is not their wrong also because he is behaving like that. Now what they can do? See, mother and father will have special concern. The brothers may not show that much concern. They cannot treat him like the father. Na? They were telling that okay. So they need to maintain him and they are engaging him what he can do. Because externally he is not showing any symptoms of learning Shastra and behaving like a Brahmana. He is doing everything opposite. So
Yeah, that is okay.
how
But
much difference you
even
can see? As a normal
yeah,
human being, they have a level of patience and the things are going beyond control. So they did not torture him. They engaged him in whatever he could do, seeing that okay, he may not be intellectually inclined, so let him do physical activities. And whatever food is there, sometimes whatever is there,
yeah,
good food is there,
and
they
yeah,
offer.
that's what I was feeling. The kind of food they were offering to him, that is torture only, na, in a way. Like means Jad Bharata didn't see it as a torture, but in common sense, if we see, it's like
We see, I mean, I don't want to say, but that is what happens in the world outside. See, they are Brahmanas. So, I mean, I'm not denying them that. So, but they are also human beings. They also have, we can say that they are Brahmanas, but they may not be so devotee kind of culture, but they are Brahmanically oriented. They know Shastra and they are priests. The priests, some category of priests are interested in remuneration. So, they are interested in gain. So, like that, we can think of. So from that point of view, how to execute a particular ritual and all in that they are well educated. So it is there even in our families also. The way parents treat is different. The other family members treat also different. It's we can you can also understand it. You can see in your
yeah,
surroundings also.
yeah,
So it's not some rocket science. See, one day they may show compassion, 2 days they may show compassion, but years after able to show compassion. That is difficult.
right.
Only parents can do tirelessly. Everyone cannot do that.
True, true. Thank you.
So now the scene changes. The 10th chapter describes how King Rahugana, understanding that the foul words he used to describe the carrier of the palanquin, that is Brahmana Bharata, were not suitable for a great sage, got down from the palanquin and praised Bharata. Now Bharata Maharaj dealings with King Rahugana, and this will continue for a longer time. There is a nice discussion in the future chapters, all philosophical discussion. So this from here on, a lot of technicalities will begin. So we need to pay attention to understand. Very difficult to understand these chapters all the way up to chapter 14. So we'll try to discuss as much as possible according to our understanding. So just brief connection from the previous chapter to this chapter. Bharata gave mercy to his brothers and neighbors who maintained him with rice and oil cakes, even though they were materialists filled with Rajoguna. So they are like Smartha kind of Brahmanas. They are only interested in remuneration and doing some activities expertly and all. So that compassionate element is less in that sense. By letting them see his farm for a considerable period of time. So he stayed with them for many decades, maybe 1 to 2, 3 decades. We can say, we could say maybe 30 years. So for the last 30 years, they are able to see him. He's a pure devotee. They are seeing him. So even though may not be in a good standard way, but they also served him by providing him food and other things, whatever they could do. So some sukriti they gained. In the future life, they will get the benefit of that because they are in the mode of passion, it is indicated. And then Bharata also gave mercy to the leader of the thieves, even though he was in deep damoguna, attached to sinful activities, and had beaten Bharata because he arranged for thieves' liberation in the next life, because the thief saw himself and Kali directly. The thieves also saw Bharata Maharaj. The thieves also served Bharata. I don't know how much time back he was bathed. Today he was bathed nicely and he was dressed nicely. He was decorated. He was fed nicely. In one sense, the thieves got Sukruti, a nice opportunity to serve a great devotee. And also, they were able to see Kali, Bhadrakali, and they were killed by Bhadrakali. So their sins are removed. And next life, they will get birth in a devotee's family and they practice bhakti and they will attain perfection. Even though they were in the deep mode of ignorance, by Bhartamara's association, they got immense mercy, Krupa. So, like that. Both of them got mercy. One group is in the mode of ignorance, other group in the mode of passion. And Bharata will will give mercy to King Rahugana, who is in Satvaguna, being a jnani. Even though the king made him carry the palanquin, though through a manifestation of Rajoguna, suitable to the position of a king. Kings by nature will possess both mode of goodness and mode of passion. Because they also possess mode of passion, they are interested in fighting, war, control, punishing, and other things, etc. So as a result of that, he engaged King Brahmana Bharata in carrying the palanquin, and also criticized him, spoke harshly. But since he is in the mode of goodness, he is also a knowledgeable person. Brahmana Bharata gave his mercy unto him by speaking philosophy. Because he is a jnani, he can relate to it. Because the king did not show rajas or tamas and shows tattva, Bharata revealed bhakti and jnana to the king. He spoke about bhakti and also jnana to the king. Bharata did not reveal this to his brothers and thieves. Because the thieves and his brothers are not on that level to appreciate the knowledge of bhakti and jnana. But the king is on the level to appreciate it. So he revealed it to the king. The story begins in order to reveal this. It should be explained that though as Paramahamsa, one should see everything equally, mercy manifests from one's being a great devotee. Even though Bharata Maharaj, personalities like Bharata Maharaj is Paramahamsa, he should see everyone equally. Brahmabhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshi sama sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim lavate param. Sama sarveshu bhuti. One should see everyone equally. But they reciprocate with the people according to the level at which the people are. With his brothers, he would keep smiling. With the thieves, he remained silent. He neither smiled nor cried. He remained silent. But with the king, he spoke out bhakti and jnana because the king can appreciate it. The others cannot appreciate it. If in front of his brothers and the thieves, if he would have spoken something, all these things, they would become more angry and shout at him more. That would create more offense in those personalities. So for their benefit, he remained kept quiet in relation to them. Here, for the king's benefit, he spoke out. Some say the story is told to explain how, by the mercy of the Lord, Bharata's own bhakti, Bharata's jnana and vairagya were multiplied 100 times. So by doing all these things, Bharata Maharaj's bhakti, vairagya, jnana are multiplied 100 times. Because he showed such a level of determination, such a level of tolerance. The tolerance we also saw in the case of Rishabdev. All the city people were troubling him, scolding him, throwing rocks and other things, false substances, but still he remained silent. He remained tolerant. That actually increases their spiritual merit. And the same way, because he showed such a great amount of tolerance, his spiritual merits increased 100-fold. So this is the story of Bharata. Now, starting with text 1. Someone read the text translation.
Shukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, after this King Rahugana, rulers of the states known as Sindhu and Suviram, was going to Kapilashrama. When the king's chief palanquin carriers reached the banks of the river Ikshumati, they needed another carrier. Therefore, they began searching for someone, and by chance they came upon Jadbharata. They considered the fact that Jadbharata was very young and strong and had firm limbs, like cows and asses. He was quite fit to carry loads. Thinking in this way, although the great soul Jadbharata was unfit for such work, they nonetheless unhesitatingly forced him to carry the palanquin.
While, so what happened? Everything happened in the middle of the night. रात को 12-1 बजे सब कुछ हो गया. So next morning, the Bharata was traveling out from that camp area and he was walking on the roadside. So on that particular day, the king of Sindhu and Savira, his name is Rahugana, was traveling on the bank of Ikshumati river, and the leader of his palanquin bearers was searching for extra bearer. Looks like the palanquin is being carried by 3 people only. The 4th person is missing, or carried by 7 people, the 8th person is missing, something like that. The leader of the palanquin bearers looking for a person who can do this seva for the king. By chance, they came upon Bharata, who was walking on the roadside, having it protected by Kali. He is the best of the Brahmanas who had arrived there. He was well nourished. So apparently, from far, when the leader saw, he looked at this Brahmana Bharata. He was well nourished, but the body point of view, he was looking good, young, and strong like a bull or donkey. Thinking that he was suitable to carry the load, they forcefully engaged that great devotee along with the other carriers who were also engaged by force. So the palanquin bearer, the leader of the palanquin bearers, he is such a person. Whoever is available, engaging them. A king ka seva, chalo, आप carry करो, king का सेवा, ज़्यादा मत बोलो, करो, something like that. So he came to Bharata and told, a king is passing, you need to carry his palanquin, chalo, come. So there's nothing, no asking whether can you carry, is it possible for you, something not like that. Just engaging them. He forcefully engaged other people also, other 3 or 7, and engaged Bharata also by force. The great devotee, though not proper for such a job, carried the palanquin of the king. This kind of activity is not at all fit for Bharata Maharaj. But still, because he can never say no to anyone, so he was told to do it. So he was doing it. He started carrying the palanquin. Rahugana was the king of the states of Sindhu and Savira. Even today also we can see Sindhu Pradesh. So Sindhu and Savira, that place. So that is on the bank of Ikshumati river. Maybe there. The leader of the carriers was searching for another carrier. Bharata had well nourished limbs and was strong. Thinking that he was capable, the leader of the carriers forcefully engaged him. So it's like that. So then what happened? When the movements of the bearers became disarrayed, because Bharata moved only after looking 3 feet ahead. See, normally when we are walking on the road, we don't see so much in front of our feet. We see at a far distance. Samne, thus after 10 meters ahead, what is there? We generally look into the front side and see what is there in the front distance. On the other hand, Bharata was looking downward. He was looking just close to his feet, maybe in 1-2 feet area. What are the ants? What kind of animals? The small insects are there. He does not want to harm them. He does not want to step on them. So other 3 palanquin bearers, they are looking into the front side and walking fast. And Bharata was looking downward and seeing the hands on the path. He was walking slowly, now with very carefully, that not putting his feet on top of the hands. So as a result of that, when 3 people are moving fast, 1 person is moving slow, so the palanquin will have jerks. The king realized that the palanquin was moving irregularly. He spoke to the men carrying the palanquin. Oh, carriers, walk correctly. Why is the palanquin moving unevenly? Or other thing is that, because sometimes when Bharata would see more ants, he would not walk only, he would stop and he would wait for the ants to move aside, then he would move forward. Again, after some time, if he sees more ants, he would stop. The king would expect fast movement of the palanquin because he is in a hurry. He has to go to the destination very quickly. There some meeting is there. But since it is moving very slowly, unevenly, sometimes the waiting period is more. Sometimes he might be waiting for a few, say 5 seconds, sometimes 10 seconds, sometimes 15 seconds for the ants to move aside. The king became restless. He kind of spoke. He said, "Oh, carriers, walk correctly. Why the palanquin is moving unevenly?" So like that he asked. And immediately the other three palanquin bearers, they informed, "My dear king, it is not because of us, it is because of the newly joined person." Bharata moved only after glancing 3 feet ahead to avoid violence to ants. The movement of the men was not synchronized. So others are walking fast and he is walking slow. So in that way, the palanquin is walking slow and sometimes he would stop also in between. So palanquin is not moving regularly. They would go for some distance and it would stop. And other three would try to walk and it would go in a disoriented way. The king was feeling highly uncomfortable. So the king asked, move properly. They replied saying that, hearing the censuring words of this their master, the carriers became afraid of punishment and informed the king as follows. So when the king spoke the abusive words, saying that, "Why are you walking like this? Why there is so much difficulty in carrying the palanquin? Walk properly." The three people, the three palanquin bearers, they actually told, "It is not our mistake. This is his mistake." Because the king told that they are afraid of the fourth punishment. So it is said that Suryat Sankita Manasa. In their mind, they thought that king might punish us. So previously, the palanquin bearer told that, "Okay, you come. The king's palanquin you have to carry so that you will be rewarded," something like that. But here, there it seems that the king is going to punish us. Out of fear of punish, they said, "No, no, it is not because of our mistake. It is because of this fourth person who just joined." "Oh king, we have not been attended to. We are completely attentive. We are walking properly. We are walking in the right direction, the right speed. All of us walking together. But unfortunately, the fourth person is not carrying properly. He is not in sync with us. But the man who has now been engaged does not walk quickly. He is walking very slow. We are not able to carry the palanquin along with him properly." So they said, "My dear king, it is not our mistake. It is the mistake of this fourth person. What can we do? We are attentive. We are able to walk properly. We are able to walk together. But he is not. We are actually abiding by your orders, but he is going against to your orders." So like that, they replied, thinking that, okay, okay, otherwise king will punish us. So like that. So please read the fifth verse translation.
King Rahugana could understand the speeches given by the carriers who were afraid of being punished. He could also understand that simply due to the fault of one person, the palanquin was not being carried properly. Knowing this perfectly well and hearing their appeal, he became a little angry, although he was very advanced in political science and was very experienced. His anger arose due to his inborn nature as a king. Actually, King Rahugana's mind was covered by the mode of passion, and he therefore spoke as follows to Jadabharat, whose Brahman effulgence was not clearly visible, being covered like a fire covered by ashes.
So when the palanquin bearers, the carriers, they said that, "No, no, we three are following your order. We are walking fast and properly together, but the fourth person is not in sync with us. So the palanquin we are not able to carry properly." Hearing the words of his poor servants and understanding that the fault of one person will lead to a fault in all other persons in a group due to intimate association, the king became a little angry because of his nature and fell under its control, even though he had received knowledge from sages. King, as a matter of fact, he was trained by the Brahmanas, he was trained by the Guru, he had good sense of understanding, everything is there. But a king by nature, he also possesses the passionate mood, the controlling nature, the mastering nature, the punishing nature. So now the four simple people are employed in carrying the palanquin, and it is not happening. He is in a hurry to go to other place and to do some important activity. So he's becoming restless. So he became angry. So that anger became more and more. So the king is seeing that one person is not doing the duty properly, the other people are put in trouble. So why this person is doing like this? He became very much angry. His mind covered by passion, he spoke to Bharata, whose spiritual power was covered like a fire covered by ashes. Though Bharata was a pure devotee, but externally is not appearing like a pure devotee. He is appearing like any common man who has just wandering on the roadside. So like that. So now, for the first time, the king speaks indirectly. He does not speak directly. Because here, in one sense, the king is not employing them by paying them. They are employed in carrying the palanquin by force by the leader of the palanquin bearers. So the king cannot chastise them because he is not paying. So initially, he will speak in a sarcastic way. He says that, "Oh brother," he's actually addressing him as brother. It is clearly difficult. It is clearly difficult. Yeah, I can understand. For you to carry the palanquin is very tough, not very tough job. You are very tired since you are carrying this palanquin from last 10 kilometers. We are very tired. I can understand that it is very difficult for you to carry further. Because what happened is immediately as soon as he was employed to carry the palanquin in no time, maybe in 1 or 2 minutes, within that time only, the palanquin movement becomes slow and is not moving properly. The king is indirectly saying that, "Oh brother, it is indeed very difficult to carry the palanquin because you are tired, having traveled it, having carried it for long distance. You have traveled a long path, and for a long time, you are carrying this the load alone. Though other three people are there, but you alone carrying the entire load. So it is very difficult. You have been completely tired, and then you are not healthy. You are not at all healthy, and you do not have strong limbs." So externally, he was youthful, healthy, young, strong, and stout. Everything was mentioned in the past. So now he was speaking in a sarcastic way. And you are afflicted by old age. Oh friend, okay. Here Bharata, oh brother. Here Sake, oh friend. The other workers do not cooperate with you. The other worker said that he is not cooperating with us. The king is sarcastically saying that they are not cooperating with you. In this way, though abused badly, Bharata continued to carry the palanquin silently as before. The king spoke in this way, in a sarcastic way, chastising the fourth carrier. But Bharata did not mind. He just heard them and kept quiet and began to walk. And while he was walking again, whenever he would see ants, he would stop. And after some time, when the ants moved aside, he would walk. Since he was situated in Brahmabhuta platform, and he was not covered by the false conception of I and mine in his final body. See now, the various attributes are mentioned. So why he was not affected by the sarcastic words of the king? Because he was situated in Brahmabhuta platform, first thing. And he was not covered by the false conception of I and mine. When there is a false conception of I and mine, we become angry. Hey, why? How can you call me like this? How can you scold me like this? How can you find fault with me? We become angry. But he is beyond the identity of I and mine. And the next thing is, he is situated in his final body. He is not interested in meddling with any other material activities. He just remained quiet. The moment he will die, he will come back to Godhead. He is simply waiting for the death. And his body not made up of gross elements, senses, karma, and antakarana, which are not produced by Maya. And a body which was real, belonging to Vaikuntha. The body in which Bharata Maharaj situated is the last body in which he is going back home back to Godhead. So it is like that. Very soon he is going to attain spiritual body, and he is currently in a body So it is almost spiritual. So we cannot say it is material, but it is almost spiritual. So in that way, he did not mind. What is man apman for a spiritual body? So thinking like that, he did not mind the sarcastic words of the king. He kept quiet and continued to do the duty as he was doing. So it's like that. So here there is some notes in order to help us understand why Bharat Maharaj was behaving like this. The king addressed him as brother with sarcasm. Sangatina means associates. The four people come together and they should do one activity of carrying the palanquin. So when four of them are together, if one makes a mistake, the four will be at fault. So in that way, by taking the opposite meaning of the words, the king criticized Bharata. You are not tired because you have just started carrying the palanquin. You are well nourished with strong bodily limbs, and you are very much young. You are showing deceit to me, the king, by saying, I cannot carry the palanquin in a regular way with these other carriers, even though they are moving in unison. So, by not walking along with the other three carriers, externally, it appears that he is not able to carry along with them. It is too heavy, unable to walk, etc. etc. Externally, it appears like that, but it is not so. Actually, why he is stopping is because of the hands, because of compassion. But that king does not know. Though he was abused, he remained silent and continued to carry the palanquin. The reason is he was not covered with a false conception of I and mine. In his final body made up of five gross elements, the senses, pious and sinful results, and the antakarana, which was insubstantial since he had no relationship with it. Though it was real, he had attained Brahmbhuta platform. So basically, he is situated himself in a body which is made up of the Panchamahabhutas, the senses, the four antakaranas, and externally, by external, from external point of view, the punya karma, papa karma, like that we can say. So, but he was not interested in all those things because he attained a Brahmabhuta platform. He is already on the transcendental platform. Though he is still situated in the material body, but he is not affected by the material bodily requirements. Material bodily requirements such as name and fame, recognition, respect, etc. etc. Actually, Bharata, like Sukadeva Goswami, had an indestructible eternal spiritual body. Because of the arousal of prema at this time, he actually did not have possessiveness for anything except the Lord. So basically here, though apparently from the external point of view, Bharat Maharaj's body is made up of the same 24 material elements. But because internally he is endowed with prema, the entire material body has been transformed into spiritual form. It is no more material. It is almost spiritual. However, because of not attaining direct service to the Lord in that body at that moment, he manifested humility producing from increased longing. But on the other hand, though there is prema in the core of his heart, but he did not have an opportunity to serve the Lord as of now. He did not gone to spiritual world to serve the Lord directly. So he was thinking that I am not qualified to go back home back to Godhead. I am such a fallen soul. So I need to purify myself by doing all these material activities. So he was exhibiting the humility. As a result of that, he agreed to be killed by the dacoits. He agreed to do whatever his brother said. He agreed to eat whatever is given to him. And now he is agreed to do carrying the palanquin. He thought like that. Because he had a increased longing. He wanted to go back to spiritual world. He wanted to purify himself as early as possible and go back to God. For that reason, he was ready to do whatever others say. Thus, he did not want to offer his sense of I to the Lord. As a result of that, he did not want to offer his current situation unto the Supreme Lord. currently thinking that I'm still contaminated. So I cannot offer my contaminated existence unto Supreme Lord. So he wanted to purify, he wanted to get purified. So he was doing all the activities which are told to him in order to purify himself. Because of this, Bharata made a show of having a material body, even though he was full of knowledge. Even though he is already on the Prema platform, he showed that he is like a material person in that way. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami also described him as if he had a material body. If one takes the superficial meaning of the words. Superficially, if you read the translation, it appears that okay, he has a material body, he feels that his karma is still there, he want to be purified, that's why he was doing all these activities. But it is not so. The last phrase appears to mean in his final body made up of the gross elements, senses, karma, and antakarana produced by Maya, a body which was insubstantial, though having a particular appearance. The literal meaning of the verse is like this, but the actual meaning is, however, the phrase actually means in his eternal body, because he already almost received the spiritual body, that is eternal body, that remained after all previous bodies had been destroyed, which was not made of material elements, senses, karma, and antakarana. But however, currently he is in that body with the level of prema. Because at the level of prema, his body has been converted into spiritual substance, and it has no connection with the matter. So in that way, swa cha swacharame can mean that su acharame kalevare, an exalted body. He is situated in an exalted body. The body was absolute since it was devoid of prarabdha karma. That body possessed Vaikuntha Loka. That means the body which Bharata Maharaj possessed as of now is fit body to go back home back to Godhead. That means he can go back to Vaikuntha in the self same body and continue to serve the Lord in the self same body. That the body attend that kind of qualification. So like that it is indicated. So in any case, from all point of view, Bharata Maharaj was not at all affected by, till now he was not affected by any other external circumstances. Now also, though the king is circumstantially speaking, he was not affected. He simply acted like a material person out of humility arising from prema. He had no sense of identification with me and mine. So this is the situation. This is the internal consciousness of Bharat Maharaj. As a result of that, he did not respond to the king immediately, but he continued to walk as before. So it is like that. You are following?
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. All of you
Yes,
are with me?
yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. I think we shall take some couple of minutes break, then we'll continue. Is it okay?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Madhu.
Prabhuji, just I was saying little confusion, like previous bodies, whatever he had, they were all material bodies, and the current body which he's having, that is although appearing as material, but still it has been spiritualized. Is it the right understanding?
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
in one sense, he was practicing bhakti over many lifetimes. The body of Bharat Maharaj. So, I mean, like as a matter of fact, all bodies are made up of 24 elements only. But especially in this time, he became so serious, so strict. He's only acting on the level of prema. Externally, is not interacting with any material activities, material world and materialistic activities. So in that way, because the prema is filled in the heart, the entire body also transformed into spiritual. So like that we should see.
Okay. Okay. And that body from Vaikuntha Loka that was mentioned in the notes, na, that means the body which is fit to go to Vaikuntha Loka.
Ah,
Right? Okay.
his consciousness is such developed that he is fit to go to Vaikuntha in the self same body. So like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a couple of minutes break, then we'll continue. Hare Krishna. Devotees are there?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Can someone
Yes.
read the translation? Text number 7.
Yes, Prabhuji. 7, na Prabhuji?
Yes.
Yeah. Thereafter, when the king saw that his palanquin was still being shaken by the carriers, he became very angry and said, "You rascals, what are you doing? Are you dead despite the life within your body? Do you not know that I am your master? You are disgrading me and you are not carrying out my order. For this disobedience, I shall now punish you just as Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, punishes sinful people. I shall give you proper treatment so that you will come to your senses and do the correct thing."
So previously, the king very mildly, in a friendly way, because he was not playing them, he was not employed, he did not employ them, and he was not paying at all. So he very mildly, in a friendly, joking way, he kind of sarcastically chastised. But after that also, when the Brahmana Bharata did the same thing as usual, the king, since he considered himself to be the king, he became very angry. This time he will directly shout at him, directly become angry and shout at him. So thus it is said that thereafter, when the king saw that his palanquin was still being shaken by the carriers, he became very angry and said, "You fool, what are you doing? Are you dead despite the life within your body? Jivan Mruta." So, matlab, a live person will hear and understand and follow. In spite of being informed, if one does not respond, he is generally scolded as dead. So, from that point of view, here the king is saying that, are you dead despite the breathing is happening? You are disregarding me and are not cannot carrying out my order. I am the king. Can't you understand that? You have to follow my order. You are disregarding right outrightly. It is not that I am somewhere else and you are somewhere else. You are not following my order. It will take time to understand. But I am here only. I am myself giving you order and you are not following. What kind of a person are you? There are two kind of people disregard the order of the king in front of the king. One is disobedient. Other is mad. The disobedient who does not want to follow the king, they will disregard the order of the king. The mad people, since they can't understand, they will not follow the order. So now the king says that if you are disobedient, I am Yamaraja for you. I will punish you in such a way that you are forced to obey me. Or if you are mad, I will punish you in such a way that your madness will be taken away. So like that, the king becomes angry at Brahmana Bharata and
Hare Krishna.
directly speaks. Yes.
Yeah, no, you complete, Prabhuji, then I'll.
Yeah. So directly speaks. This time he did not take any indirect speech. He did not sarcastically scold or jokingly scold. He directly says that if you are disobedient, I'll punish you like Yamaraj. If you are mad, I will give you proper treatment so that your madness will be taken away. So like that.
Prabhuji, here we are saying that the king Rahugana is in Satvagana, what we discussed, and he's going for getting some spiritual insights at
Hmm.
Kapilashram. So how it is how far it is right to just pull although people may be his citizens, but just pull somebody without giving any salary, just you have to compulsory carry me all throughout. I'm thinking that ये इतना दूर जाना है तो हाथी घोड़े बाकी भी कुछ चीज इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं ना, why is troubling the citizens like?
तो लगता है आप कभी पुराना मूवी देखा नहीं. It depends. Sometimes if it is short distance, they would employ the palanquin bearer. So it is not that king does oversee everything. The king does not oversee how much people are paid, what is their salary, and all. King does not have all these things to worry about. The palanquin bearers leader is supposed to worry about all these things. it is his fault. The king may not know that, okay, they are not being paid, so how can I employ them? If king knew it, he will not do that. So it is the duty of the manager to do the needful. The manager will employ someone and he will pay. The manager is not paying. So, but whatever it is, in one sense, he is not a normal person, he is a king. So he is expecting that he need to go to some destination in some time. That is not happening. So he obviously will become restless and will become angry. So from his point of view, it is there. You cannot expect that he should act like a saint here also.
Okay.
Yeah. See, this we discussed many times, even in Bhagavad Gita also it was discussed. A king by nature saintly only. But when a king stands in the battlefield, he cannot behave saintly. He will become chivalrous, he fights with the opposite party. And when a king sits in Darbar, when he sees some sinful people, when criminals, when they are supposed to be punished, he will avoid punishment. He cannot say that, okay, I'm saintly person, so I'll not punish them. So let them go free and let them do whatever they want. So king will never say like that. A king responds according to the person in front of him. But the same king, with a great sage, he will always respond respectfully. With the great sages, he will never respond such kind of behavior, with such kind of behavior. So it is like that. So for a king, he is not a devotee. He is a normal person. Even king does not treat him as a Brahmana also. The king may not knew also what happening outside. The king is inside the palanquin, everything, the door curtains are closed. The king does not know only. He thought that some simple people are being employed in the palanquin carrying. So, उनके लिए उधर जाना, that is important.
Yeah.
So, I mean, don't put everything on the king. King will not worry about all these small things. So in that way.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
In this manner, the king spoke incoherently, thinking himself a king and thinking himself learned, while abusing the perfect devotee out of pride combined with passion and ignorance. If in that fourth position, if it was not Brahmana Bharata, if it was somebody else, some normal human being, do we take seriously the words of the king? Even we are in the position of the king, we also do the same thing. It is not that, okay, we behave saintly. We do behave much more worse than the king. But here we are discussing this pastime because the fourth person is a great devotee. Externally appears to be a simple person, but is a great devotee. That's why the subject matter is being discussed. That's why I decided that a king spoke incoherently, and king thought himself to be a king, and himself to be a learned person, and he is abusing the perfect devotee. If the fourth person is not a devotee but an ordinary person, what king did is right, completely right. There is no fault on the part of king. But unfortunately, the fourth person is a great devotee. The king is at fault. So it is like that. Then the powerful Brahmana Bharata, with a slight smile and with no pride, then spoke to the king, who did not know much about the conduct of a great yogi, who was the friend of all beings and who was situated in Brahman platform, Brahmabhuta platform. For Bharata Maharaj, the ant and the king both are same. He is concerned about both. For the sake of king, he does not want to kill the ants. But for king, he is a king. He is supposed to be taken to a destination as early as possible. He was in hurry. So from that point of view, since the king did not understand that this fourth person is a great yogi, he could not decipher that. So he is at mistake. And now, later on, couple of verses later, we will see what is the king's mentality, what kind of behavior king will display. It is very clearly indicated. The king had criticized the perfect devotee, Bhagavat Priya Niketam, Bharata was the very form of being the friend of all beings. This means that he was merciful even to those who offend him. So here Bharata did not find fault with the king. Previously did not find fault with his brothers and with the dacoits. Same way here also. Even though king spoke very harshly, very strongly, indicating to Bharat, but Bharata did not become angry. He did not take them too personally because he is already beyond the conception of I and mine. The king thought that he was learned. He thought that he was learned. I am the king. I am to be served by all the populace. Thought like that. He had a little knowledge, but thought he knew everything. The king did not know much about the conduct of great yogis, such as acting as dull. The king did not decipher that, okay, this person is not a. Matlab, in one sense, sectionally, if you see, he did not inquire the reason for the fourth person walking slowly. Instead, he demanded that four should walk together and walk faster and take the king to destination. So he did not inquire the reason for the slow walking and why he is doing like that because of his sage nature. So that he did not decipher. So in that way, apparently speaking like a learned man, but he is not learned. That's what Sukadeva Goswami says. So Bharata smiled, thinking, the king thinks that he is a jnani, but he speaks like a fool. As if not learned, he is speaking like a fool. Eva indicates that the smile did not manifest externally. He did not laugh loudly. He slightly smiled without the notice of the king. Bharata was without pride in being a jnani. The king was proud that I am the all-knower. I know everything. I am perfect in knowledge. But the Bharata Maharaj, in spite of knowing everything, was still humble. He was thinking that I am not pure enough to go back to Godhead. That's why I'm still alive. So like that he was thinking. So thinking like that, he will respond. And hearing that response, the king immediately comes out of the palanquins and falls flat at the feet of Brahmana Bharata. So, see, the same king who was criticizing till now, who was chastising till now, he will fall flat at the feet of Brahmana Bharata. Because then he understood by hearing the words of the Brahmana Bharata, he understands that he is not an ordinary person, he is a great yogi, a great devotee. So apparently for us, it seems that the king is so arrogant, so proud. But that is also nature of the king. The nature of king is to control, to command, to demand. So that is also one of the aspect of king. So that is there. So now Brahmana Bharata will speak, will respond, countering the arguments made by the king. Brahmana uvacha tvayoditam vyaktamavippralabdam bhartu same syad yadi veera bhara gantur yadi syad adigamya madva deveti rasau navidam pravada. Please read the translation.
The great Brahmana Jadbharat said, my dear king and hero, whatever you have spoken sarcastically is certainly true. Actually, these are not simply words of chastisement, for the body is the carrier. The load carried by the body does not belong to me, for I am the spirit soul. There is no contradiction in your statements because I am different from the body. I am not the carrier of the palanquin. The body is the carrier. Certainly, as you have hinted, I have not labored carrying the palanquin, for I am detached from the body. You have said that I am not stout and strong, and these words are befitting a person who does not know the distinction between the body and the soul. The body may be fat or thin, but no learned man should say such things to the spirit soul. As far as the spirit soul is concerned, I am neither fat nor skinny. Therefore, you are correct when you say that I am not very stout. Also, if the object of this journey and the path leading there were mine, there would be many troubles for me. But because they relate not to me but to my body, there is no trouble at all.
So Brahmana Bharata replied saying that, O king, what you have spoken is clearly without doubt. Everything is actually without deceit. Everything is absolutely right. Only if the burden of the carrier belong to me. So whatever you said, everything will be absolutely right. Only if I consider myself to be the body. Since I am not considering myself the body, what you said would be different. Only if the burden of the carrier belong to me, if the destination and the path of the traveler belong to me. Here, the king spoke from the conventional point of view, but Brahmana Bharata speaks from the point of view of Atmajnan. Being situated on the Atma platform, is speaking that whatever you have said is true only if I identify myself with the body. But since I do not identify with my body, so the body is like the second person. The body is carrying the palanquin. I am not carrying. And the body is walking from point A to point B. I, as Atma, has nothing to do with point A to point B, the destiny, where I am supposed to go. I have nothing to do with all this material travel from one place to other place. And because none of these things belong to me, and your statements be sarcasm. If only I identify myself with the body, your statements of sarcasm would be true. Otherwise, they don't make any sense. To say I am well nourished is not the talk of a person in knowledge. A person in knowledge who understands the distinction between the body and soul, who only identifies with the soul, will never speak in terms of the bodily strong, stoutness, etc. So since you said by looking at the external body which is strong and stout, you said that you are strong and stout, you are not strong, you are weak and all. That is not the knowledge of a that is not the language of a knowledgeable person. So like that, slowly, one by one, he is countering the statements of the king. I will show mercy to the king who thinks he has knowledge by defeating him with the same knowledge. This is expressed by contrary statements. So the Bharatmara is saying that, my dear king, if you have said that I am not tired and have not come long way, that is not incorrect. It is not sarcasm. It is actually true. Because I as a soul am not tired. I as a soul did not travel anywhere. For the soul, the material travel does not make any sense. So in that way. If the burden of the palanquin carrier belong to me, then it will be sarcasm. If I identify with the body, then what you have spoken sarcastically would be really a sarcasm. But I do not identify with the body, so whatever you spoke is true. Since I am different from my body, I am not the carrier. The body is a different person altogether. So he is carrying, I am not the carrier. If the destination of the traveler or the path of the traveler belong to me, then it would be sarcasm. So when he said that you have carried for a long time, you walked for a long distance, you carried the weight of the palanquin alone, all these things would be true if I identify with the body. And it's not. Calling me well nourished belong to the body of the living entities. It is not the talk of a person in knowledge. A person in knowledge of Atma does not speak saying that okay, you are well nourished looking at the external body. It is true that I am well nourished, but for me, as a conscious soul, it is slander. So apparently, externally, my body may be well nourished. When you say that you are well nourished, it is a slander because I am not identifying with my material body. I am identifying myself with the soul only. So, so like that, he is refuting one by one all the statements made by the king. And also further, he refutes other statements of the king. Taulyam karsyam vyadaya adayascha kshutrudbayam kalir iccha jaracha nidraratirmanyuraham madastusho dehe na jatasya himena shanti. Please read the translation.
Fatness, thinness, bodily and mental distress, thirst, hunger, fear, disagreement, desires for material happiness, old age, sleep, attachment for material possessions, anger, lamentation, illusion, and identification of the body with the self are all transformations of the material coverings of the spirit soul. A person absorbed in material bodily conception is affected by these things, but I am free from all bodily conception. Consequently, I am neither fat nor skinny nor anything else you have mentioned.
On the bodily platform, we go through all these emotions. But in Brahmabhuta platform, one does not go through all these emotions. That contrary picture, Bharat Maharaj is showing now. Strength, that means physical strength, mental strength, thinness, thickness, sickness, healthy, anxiety, happiness, hunger, thirst, fear, freedom, dissension, desire, hatred, youth, old age, sleep, attachment, aversion, anger, false identity, illusion, and lamentation. All these things belongs to a person born with a body. That means identify with a body. And they do not exist for a person like me who is on Brahmabhuta platform. So in that way, all the emotions about which you talked about do not belong to me. They only belong to a person who identify with their body. They do not belong to me because I am already on the Brahmabhuta platform. Not only am I well nourished, but no bodily quality belongs to me. Well nourished means here the well nourishment means I am spiritually well nourished. I am already on the spiritual platform. Atma ke sar pe hoon. So all the bodily qualities does not belong to me. One who is born with a body, the jiva who identifies with the body, certainly all these emotions mentioned in the verse. I do not possess all these emotions since I do not identify with the body in which I am residing. I am already on the Brahmabhuta platform. And then the king told many things, Jivan, Mruta, etc. For that, the Brahmana Bharata will refute. Hare Krishna, all of you are able to follow all these arguments, counter arguments?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Jivan Mrutatvam Niyamena Rajan Adyantavadyad Virkritasya Drushtam Sasamya Bhavo Dhruva Idyetra Taryuchyate Sau Vidikritya Yoga.
My dear king, you have unnecessarily accused me of being dead, though alive. In this regard, I can only say that this is the case everywhere because everything material has its beginning and end. As far as you're thinking that you are the king and master and are thus trying to order me, this is also incorrect because these positions are temporary. Today you are a king and I am your servant, but tomorrow the position may be changed and you may be my servant and I your master. These are temporary circumstances created by providence.
Yeah, here he says that, O king, you have said that I am living but dead, Jivan Mrutatvam. But this is true for everyone according to the laws of nature. नियम के अनुसार what you have said is actually applicable to everyone. Unless until we are on the soul platform, we are dead, though we are living. So from that point of view, he said, what you have said is actually true in relation to everyone. One sees changes everywhere since there is a beginning and end of all things. You have said that I disregard your order because how everyone is living dead? Because our body keeps going through transformations. Dehinosmi yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhira tatanam yati. Though in one lifetime also our body goes through so many changes. Every change is equivalent to death. So we are living dead. So in that way. That is one argument. The next argument is you have said that I disregarded your order. O king, worthy of worship, when the conditions of the servant and master are fixed for the rest of eternity, then one may say a person is suitable to be engaged in service. If this understanding that you are master and servant is eternally true, then you can say that okay, your order has been disregarded. But no, who knows? Today you may be king, I am ordinary person. Tomorrow I may be king, you have become ordinary person. Then who will follow the order? How long that instruction will be valid? So like that. You have said that I am living but dead. If you are defining me in terms of bodily identity, then living but being dead do not belong to me only. It belongs to everyone. Everything seen is a transformation, since transformation takes place every moment with a beginning and end. You again said that I am disobeying the order of the master. The state of servant and master exists. When these are fixed, then one can say that the person is fit to carry the palanquin. If you give up the kingdom and I obtain the kingdom, then I make you carry the palanquin and say, what is this? So, since our positions are not permanently fixed, our instructions also do not have permanent validity. And later on, king will take this argument and ask questions. Even though you may say that our positions may not be permanent, but for the present, we are like that. We are designated like that. I am designated as a king. You are designated as a normal person. So we should respond accordingly. Otherwise, we are considered to be mad. So like that, king will ask him eventually a question. But he is speaking on the platform of Atma. On the level of Atma, he is speaking. So in that way. So like that, slowly, step by step, one argument has been refuted. Then the Brahmana Bharata says that विशेषबुद्धेर्विवरं मनाक्षा पश्यामयन्न व्यवहारतोऽन्यान् कायेश्वरस्तत्र किमीशितव्यम् तथापि राजन् करवाम किं ते. Here he says that other than convention, I do not at all see any distinction of master and servant. Who is the master and who is the servant? O king, if you think you are a king, what can I do for you? So only as a matter of convention, we accept all these rules and regulations, master, servant, service, order, etc., etc. But in reality, from the point of view, the eternity point of view, who is the real master and who is the real servant? So if at all, from your point of view, if you think you are master because you are king, I am servant because I am walking on the roadside. So please tell me what should I do? So like that, Brahmana Bharata is. So when king hearing these words, the king says that as long as I am king, I am the master. Then Brahmana Bharata says that I do not see even a little opportunity for distinction of servant and master other than convention. It is only conventional reality that you may consider yourself to be master. I am considering to be myself to be servant because the both persons language, the basis for their language is different. For the king, his basis is I am a soul living in a body, and currently this body has been designated as a king. So I'm in the position of a king. So I need to act as the king. For Brahmana Bharata, though living in the body, is already out of body. He is already on the Brahmbhuta platform. So his speech is beyond the worldly conventions. So apparently both of them are speaking on a different level. So the entire distinct discussion for the rest of the 3 chapters will be like this only. All the questions asked by the king on the platform of the body, mind and soul, all 3 together. But the response given by Bharata Maharaj is only on the from the point of view of liberated state. So that the same mode will continue for the next 3 chapters. But if you have such an identity, what should I do for you? So my dear king, so since you cannot raise yourself to the soul platform, you still respond on the platform of body, mind and soul put together, all 3 put together. So please tell me what can I do? Though I am not on the platform of body, mind, soul together, so tell me what can I do for you? Because since you consider you to be the king and you want me to be your servant, so I will serve you as a servant. Please tell me what should I do? So like that is asking. But anyway, kindly remember this one point. For the later on 3 chapters also, all the questions that king poses, all based on the understanding that I am the soul living in the body and I need to act as per the uh, identity of the body, as per the designation given to me as per the bodily identity, as a king, as a ruler, as a controller, etc. But Brahmana Bharata will respond on the platform of liberation. So this mode will be carried forward for the next 3 chapters. Unmatta matta jadava samstam. So now the next argument, when king said that, oh, I am the master, you are not responding to me my instruction because that is possible only in 2 conditions. One is you are disobedient, you are either disobedient or you are mad. So then taking the argument that I am mad, you said that I am mad, for which he is responding now. Unmatta matta jadavasva samstam gatasya me veera चिकित्सितेन आर्ताकियान् भवता चिकित्सेन शब्दा प्रमत्तस्य पिष्टपेशा.
My
My
dear
dear,
king,
sorry, Mataji, continue.
my dear king, you have said, you rascal, you dull, crazy fellow, I am going to chastise you, and then you will come to your senses. In this regard, let me say that although I live like a dull, deaf, and dumb man, I am actually a self realized person. What will you gain by punishing me? If your calculation is true and I am a woman, then punishment will be like beating a dead horse. There will be no effect. When a mad man is punished, he is not cured of his madness.
So here taking that into consideration, he responds, O king, what purpose is served by punishing a person who has attained Brahman? Swa samstam gatasya me. But who apparently or externally acts like a madman or a dull person. Punishing a mad person is like pounding powder. So he's telling that I am already situated in my transcendental position, Swa Samstam, on the Atma platform. But I apparently am behaving like a mad person. By considering me to be a mad person, if you want to punish me, so by which you can remove my madness. So what do you gain? Punishing a mad person is like pounding the powder. The grains have already become powder, and if you beat them again, if you grind them further, so what can be done? The powder becomes more fine powder only. It cannot become the original grains. So, if I am a mad person, by punishing me, I will become more mad. You can never revert back my madness. So, like that is saying. You have said that you will punish me for being inattentive. What do you hope to accomplish by verbally or physically punishing a person who is situated in Brahman? So, one who is already Brahmabhuta platform, what material punishment can do to him? Nothing. Though he may appear to be mad externally, for liberated person do not accept either what is useful or not useful. They are already beyond good and bad. For them, there is nothing like punishment or reward. They treat both punishment and reward equally, respect and criticism equally. So nothing, none of your corrective measures act upon a liberated person. Or if I am not liberated but mad and dull, by your punishment, you are grinding what is already ground. Just as by pounding powder, you do not recreate a solid object, the grains, but it becomes more fine powder. By punishing the mad person, one does not pacify the madness, but one makes him more insane. So it's like that. A mad person cannot be cured by punishing him physically or verbally. Rather, he becomes more and more mad. Like that, the Brahmana Bharata is telling. If you understand that I am on the liberated platform, none of your punishment do anything to me because I treat everything equally. But if you consider me to be a mad person, if you want to punish me, that punishment will increase my madness. It will not revert back my previous state of consciousness. So these were the various words, counter arguments were spoken by uh, Brahmana Bharata, and he became silent. And hearing these counter arguments, the king will understand that he is not an ordinary person. And then he will respond in a saintly way. That we will see in the next verses. Any questions till now?
No, Prabhu.
No, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Babuji.
Yes.
Babuji, I was just thinking that, as you said, that the king was answering as per his role, okay, being a king. So can we say that king was wrong because he's absolutely right from his perspective and Jad Bharat is right from his perspective. So both of them are right in one sense, isn't it?
Hmm. Hmm.
So
If the fourth person is a normal person, everything would have been absolutely right. But unfortunately, the fourth person is a liberated person.
that I understood. What I'm trying to figure out is when we put ourselves in the shoes of the king, when we are performing the daily activities, they, simple as when we are eating,
Hmm.
thinking that I'm the body, I'm not this body but the soul. Are we thinking like that? We are
Hmm.
performing our activities as the role given to us.
Hmm.
So in that case, are we wrong?
No, that is the state of consciousness at which we are. We respond like that only. We cannot imitate like a self-realized soul. That becomes too difficult if you want to act like them. Immaturely, if you want to imitate like them, that becomes too difficult.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking that.
Hmm. So
I
we
don't know.
have to respond based on where we are, at what consciousness we are. That is natural for us. The way the king is responding here.
Hmm.
So till now, he was thinking the fourth person to be a normal person and he is responding like that. As soon as
Yeah.
he understands that the fourth person is not a normal person, but instead he is a liberated person, he will respond appropriately. That will be shown from the next verse onwards.
Acha, okay.
That is a sign of wisdom. That is a sign of knowledge.
Okay.
Hmm.
We'll see how he responds then probably. I will see.
Yeah. So now in the other devotees have any question? Okay. Sukadeva Goswami speaking that, thus answering the king through through repeating the king's question with explanations, the best of the sages, Brahmana Bharata, finishing his prarabdha karmas by experiencing them in this way and having destroyed all causes of material bodies with peaceful mind, resumed carrying the king's palanquin. So he responded and he again carried forward, walking further, carrying the palanquin. He did not stop his duty. So Bharat Maharaj previously as it is stated that though he is already on the platform of Prema, he is not getting opportunity to serve the Lord in person, for which he has to go back to Godhead. He is thinking that still my Paradha karma is there, still pending. As a result of that, I am still continuing in this material body. I need to purify myself as early as possible. This may be one of the way I can purify myself by carrying this palanquin. And by hearing the criticism, by hearing the chastisement of the king, I can purify my karmas, the pending karmas, so that I can go back to Godhead quickly as early as possible. He was thinking like that. And also, he also responded to the king appropriately. Responding is also one of the way of clearing one's karmas. So in that way, it is explained in the next. It is said that Bharata answered the king by explanations with repetition of the king's statements. Bharata had destroyed the cause of identification with the body due to ignorance. So he responded appropriately in order to indicate that I am just removing my prarabdha karma. How? There are two ways to see this. So one way, if Bharata had no material identification, why did he appear to be unable to tolerate the king's words and thus answer him? Previously, he never responded. He did not respond to his father, his brother, or the dacoits. But why does he respond now? Is it because he becoming angry due to his prarabdha karma? No, certainly not. If he's already beyond eye and mind, he should not respond. He should have been kept quiet. So now there are two possible answers to this question. One is, in order to destroy the king's prarabdha karma, recognized by the enjoyment of royal wealth and power in the guise of repeating the king's statements by following the process of bhakti taught by Bharata, by his mercy, the king could destroy his karmas. So Bharata saw that the king is already at the peak of mode of goodness, but he had some impurities, that he is too much identified with that Ishwaratva, Ishatva, the controllership mentality, and being the king, etc. etc. By giving him right knowledge, I can remove that particular contamination so that the king can be freed from the prarabdha karma. So in order to purify the king of his own prarabdha karma, he responded. This is one of the answers. The second answer is, another meaning is, he thought he was destroying his own karmas by this experience. What is the experience? Carrying the palanquin. Since he did not consider himself a devotee due to humility produced by prema. So he was thinking that he is clearing his own prarabdha karma by performing this activity and hearing the criticism and chastisement of the king. So these are the two possible answers we can think of. The Brahmana Bharata responded not for himself, but to purify that remaining contaminations in the heart of the king. And from his own point of view, thinking himself to be a person affected by prarabdha karma, he is carrying the palanquin so that he gets purified and go back to Godhead. So this is how it has been understood. So he did not respond in order to justify his current position. He only responded for the purpose of purifying the king, seeing that there is a possibility that this king is a receptive person. So with that intention only, he responded. And then he said that, "O Parikshit, the king of Sindhu and Savira, having attained qualification by complete faith in the topics concerning the absolute truth, Tattva Jignasyam Samyak Shraddhaya." He had Samyak Shraddha, proper faith in Tattva Jignasa. Because the king, being the royal order, he was continuously hearing from various Shiksha Gurus. So, so the eagerness to understand about Atma Tattva, Tattva Jignasa, on hearing the words of the Brahmana, which untie the knot of the heart. So hearing about Tattva Jignasa will untie the knot in the core of the heart. Hrudaya Granthi Mochanam, and which were approved by all yogic scriptures. Bahu Yoga Grantha Sammatam. Quickly got down from the palanquin and approached Bharata's feet with his head. That means, till now he was sitting in the palanquin, hearing these eloquent words spoken by this one of the fourth palanquin bearer. He understood that, the king understood that these words cannot be the words of a simple common person. These words are the words of a person of royal sage. Immediately came down and fell flat at the feet of the Brahmana Bharata. How? Having given up pride as a king and begging forgiveness, he spoke. Now, after hearing the words of the Brahmana Bharata, he is not thinking that, oh, I am a king, I am the master, I am supposed to be served. So he did not feel like that. He has given up all the pride being a king, and he fell flat. He began to beg forgiveness from the Brahmana Bharata. Understanding that he is not an ordinary person, he is actually a great devotee. So, like that. Adhikritadikara means he had attained qualification. By his upbringing, by his shiksha from various gurus, he already attained a necessary qualification. He already displayed the eagerness to understand Tattva Jignasa. So, he will respond. So, what he will respond, we will discuss in the next week. So, we'll stop here at the text number 15 and we'll continue from text number 16 onwards. First, he will beg forgiveness. He will tell what is the reason for begging forgiveness from Bharata, Brahmana Bharata, and then he will also ask some questions for further clarification. As a result of that, the discussion will continue in the next couple of chapters. Yeah, we'll stop here. Before that, any questions from any devotee?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, like, do we have exam next week or after Bharat Maharaj pastime completes, then we'll have exam?
What was stated in that sample question paper? Did I share the
You
question
had
paper with you?
mentioned after three chapters we will have like that. You had mentioned, but you had not sent questions. So
Okay,
that
I'm
is
sorry.
why I was.
Last 2 weeks I was traveling, na. Just yesterday morning only I returned, and since yesterday morning here also so many programs are happening, so I did not prepare anything. But I will prepare and send it tomorrow. If we are following the three chapters thing, because the next 3-4 chapters will be quite philosophical. It is better to write a small exam for the previous 3 chapters, so that simple pastime related story will be done. So we'll do exam. I think the next exam will be all the way up to chapter 15, I think. Chapter 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, all the 5 chapters are together. Because they are all kind of conversation between Jada Bharata and Raugana. So next will be big section. So we'll have
So
exam.
now we will be having till 10, 11, 12, na Prabhuji?
So till what chapter we had exam?
9 तक किया है.
9 तक ये तो अभी next will be this full section I suppose, because it is not just 3 chapters each, it is about the theme, one particular section. If you see the first 3 chapters about 3 kings, the next 3 chapters about Rishabh Dev, Next 3 chapters about Bharata Maharaj, at the Bharata Maharaj, at the deer, at the Brahmana Bharata. And the next 3-4 chapters will be the conversation that took place between Jada Bharata, and that is about all philosophical section. I will
Sorry,
see through that.
Prabhuji, till only 6 chapter we have done. We have 2 exams till now, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 we have done. So 7, 8, 9.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a